Alright. So we got a bit of setup. We're gonna see what's here. Got some forest and some mountain up here. We're not gonna be able to see this top left corner just yet, but let's see what we're getting at. And we've got the bottom loading in as well. So for anybody unfamiliar, this is the random map generator by Fly Sniper. We're going to be covering some of these replays today. I'm really excited to see, are any of the maps actually going to be any good? Definitely heard a bunch of complaints from people saying the maps haven't been consistently good. I've definitely played on a couple of maps that have been, I would say duds. But I've also played on a couple of maps that have been kind of interesting, so we're going to see how this plays out. We got all these villages loading in. Let's see how this goes, and we've got the commanders over on these sides. These are commanders near the stronghold, so that's something to keep in note. I played a game where my commander was like basically here, and the enemy stronghold was like here. So you can definitely see some interesting setups. We've got very aggressive barracks placements actually. So this could be a very short game. Actually, the commander is right next to the enemy barracks, so we're going to probably see some commanders potentially just like running away at the start. And there's going to be a big land grab early on for these front villages, because you want to grab the forward villages where you can. And we've got the other barracks and the tower up here. Okay. So let's see how this plays out. I'm very intrigued. We've got Snake. Immediately runs the commander back. And it's worth noting that while this looks kind of dangerous for the commander, a sword can't quite kill a weak commander early on. They will also regen health, so they'll be fine. And they got this forest to run back to safely, so... And there's like a little bit of, I almost want to say like FTA. In that you're able to run your commander away. Like, I've played a kind of similar setup to this, actually. And yeah, you're just able to kind of get your commander out. But... Snake opting to go for the back village as opposed to this side one. I actually think you can grab the side one and just like tank the hit from the sword. Because once your commander reaches a certain point, the sword isn't really necessarily going to be able to kill it by itself. Especially given that this is a full health tower nearby, so... Yeah, we're going to see the big heal on the tower. Stargen, they're just starting to grab the back villages now. Making sure to split the map in half and get the full heal on Greenfinger. We're going to see not a capture on this village on this side. But Stargen, I think, is going to grab... Oh no, Snake's going to grab the one on the opposing side. But Stargen didn't opt to go deep. They're going to have a slight disadvantage in terms of economy. However, this does mean that Zawan, I should say, can go and just punch that village and knock it down. Oh, we've got the first knight already. This could be a very short game as well, because the strongholds are fairly defensible. Especially, they've got that forest and that mountain tile in front of them. But there's a very close barracks. I'll be interested to see how that comes into play. Like, you can knight crit it from behind and on the opposite side, so... Okay, Greenfinger, just gonna knock this village down. Gets that decap. Sword is in range to go for the capture. We see this capture here, and Stargen just building a bunch of knights. Yeah, I mean, the economy works out for that, so you might as well go for it. Get those early knights, they're going to do really well against these early swords, but Snake has a golem and a mage behind it. That's actually very spooky. I see a bunch of people in chat saying long game ahead, but I mean, if you've got a golem with a mage behind it, that's actually pretty scary. I'm kind of curious if we're going to see like a Ryota groove from across the map as well. Because once that tier 2 groove comes in, he can go pretty far, and there's a lot of villages here that could be lined up with the right setup. Okay, gonna hit the village but not knock it down. Interesting. These swords are on a mountain, so the counter attack damage isn't too bad. Although that said, is this going to be a sword crit that kills? No. But it's going to heavily damage that sword, and Ryota is going very aggressive here. Wants to do damage, wants to build groove, and yeah, he's going to deal a lot of damage that knight. Has a whole bunch of his own army to reinforce, got this nice air trooper back up here, which is very strong against knights, so yeah, I'm curious how this is going to play out. This knight's going to run back, this knight's going to go for the crit on the swords. I mean, I guess it's a guaranteed kill, so... And people in chat mentioning that Ryota actually cannot get surrounded, and this is a very good point. He can go deep, because he can always get out. As long as he doesn't die, he is able to get out and do damage to the opponent's army while doing so. Wow, Stargen just builds a golem right in front of Ryota, so just saying, you know, you can come at me if you want, but I'm just gonna build really big tanky units on this side. And you're not gonna be able to push into a barracks that's reinforcing with golem. Over on this side, you're just kind of pushing forward a bit as well. Alright, we got the blade dash. Where's this gonna go? Just runs out. There's a little bit of damage to the knight. It's just like, you know what, Ryota, you're not in a great position right now, so I'm just gonna ding the knight and get out safely. Alright, what are we seeing here? Greenfinger knocks his village down, and there's like a fairly big push coming out. Greenfinger got tier 1, which is the same as his groove from Wargroove 1, more or less. It's the tier 2 groove that's different, it's the one that does damage. It actually does quite a bit of damage. Each vine that spawns or moves does damage to enemy units around it. Not buildings though, just enemy units. We got a... I don't want to say like a stalemate game, but we definitely got a game that gonna require, you know, some heavy units to break formations and break lines. So we got a trebuchet here. They are of course going to be incredibly useful in these situations where it's like very choked up. I guess something else to consider here while we're seeing people kind of make these small maneuvers are commander picks are really difficult on a map where you don't know what's going to be the meta. And wow, actually this is a very aggressive golem play. Does not want to deal with dogs. Gets rid of those. And I can see the reasoning behind that. Like, dogs can suicide into golems very effectively. And they deal a lot of damage to infantry units, which is, you know, the bulk of Snake's army here. So, you know, Snake just going like, I don't want to deal with this. I want to deal with units that I can damage with my spears and my swords. Big Mage Heal coming in on a sword, of all things. And we're just seeing Snake continue to press forwards, get a bunch of damage. Air troopers coming in to get a kill. You know, trebuchet up on the side of Stargen too, so, you know, this could potentially have turned into a very long game. And this is actually very interesting. Going for the swords on the mountain? If anyone wants to knock down the village, I can respect that. Both of them are just trying to fight over, like, the smallest economic advantage they can get. Move Ryota into the range of the trebuchet, though. Alright, I like this, weakening the golem, because yeah, full health golem is pretty scary. Like 70, 65% golem, not so much. Air trooper is gonna knock it down to like 43, it looks like. Yeah. So no longer in... That's actually probably like the perfect health you can have a golem on, is like early 40s, because Mage heals aren't going to be very effective at getting it up to a point where it can do damage, and it doesn't get its crit condition until 40%, so... Yeah, not the biggest thing, but... Oh, are we going to see a potential kill on Ryota here? He is standing in treb range, so that is kind of spooky. There is a knight crit. That's not a full health knight, but that doesn't really matter, it's because it's going to do quite a lot of damage. sword coming in. And actually, injured golem, sword, and treb I think is going to kill, so perhaps being a bit too overly aggressive here. And trebuchet, it's not a crit, but it's still going to hurt. And yeah, just follow up night hit, makes sense. And goodbye Ryota. And Stargen punishes Snake for overextended. I think, yeah, the trebuchet definitely was the thing that made sure that was guaranteed. And yeah, just well played. But like I was saying earlier, it's really difficult to like pick a good commander for random, so it's like you never really know. Like that first Ryota groove really didn't get good value. It was very hard to push in. And in this kind of situation where you're going trebuchet with a golem versus trebuchet with a golem on that side, like it becomes very much a... The game is going to take a while and everybody's very aware of that. Or if you mess up on your defense, like your opponent just slams through you and then they get a very good position that's hard to attack into. Ryota isn't the best at busting through a trebuchet and a golem. You would really want like even like Tenri would be good better. You pick off like the golem or pick off the trebuchet from range. Or many other options are also good. Lytra would actually be amazing in this circumstance, being able to like shove units onto tiles where they shouldn't really exist. So yeah. But yeah, in this case, well played by Stargen, recognizing that their opponent made a mistake moving that far forward. And I think Snake could have done really well, just played a bit too aggressively with Ryota there and got punished for it.